Hi there, my name is Dolores Van den Bogard, and I'm excited to share a couple tips and strategies with you to help set you up for success to do your own in-home party. Now, this can be at your house, at your mom's house, your sister's house, your neighbor, your best friend. If you have not done an in-home party, I just want to encourage you to do it scared. That's what I did. 19 years ago, when I got started with Norwex, I had not attended a Norwex party, but at that time there were a lot of parties going on around, and I thought, why wouldn't people want to learn about a product that could actually protect their health, save them time, and it actually works? So I set out in my area to teach people about Norwex's products by doing in-home parties. Now, I do have a couple things that I just want to tell you about an in-home party that I think is so powerful. The number one thing that I love about in-home parties is the connection and the relationships that you make when you make eye contact with those people who are sitting in that living room, and you go from one to the next to hear their cleaning challenge, or to be able to better understand what Norwex products would be a perfect fit for their family or their home. So before we get started with this training, I just want to back this up and just say, if I came to your house and I left with all of your Norwex products, none, you had absolutely no Norwex products left, what 5 products would you miss the most? I know for me, it would be the Safe Haven 5, the EnviroCloth, window cloth, dusting mitt, cleaning paste, and our laundry detergent. Those are the first 5 products that you will want to share at your in-home party. Whatever your 5 favorite products are, whatever they are, that is where you're going to make the most impact. So the only problem with doing an in-home party in your own home, and I'm just going to throw it out there right away, is that you will have the temptation to talk about too many products. So my challenge to you is this: set some boundaries for yourself before those beautiful guests even walk into the home, and decide what products are you going to talk about, and set your boundary there. Of course, other products are going to come up in conversation, but I want you to resist the urge to run to the kitchen to go get the cutting boards, to jump in your shower and go grab that shampoo and conditioner that makes your hair so nice and curly. I want to encourage you to stick with the products that you planned to talk about, and those are the ones that are out on the display. If there are other products people want to learn about, maybe they want to have a bathroom party, maybe they want to have a kitchen party, you can do different themes around different groupings of products as you see fit. But for me, I have found it most successful for my parties as I start with the Safe Haven 5, and I always add a couple of my favorites and maybe a new product here or there, and I'll throw it in. But I always include the body pack, the descaler, and the mop. So those are kind of my core products that I talk about at every party that I do. So growing up, I attended a program called 4-H. Anyone else? It's an amazing program, and they have a slogan called Learn to Do by Doing. And that is exactly what I did and what I'm challenging you to do. Yeah, you're going to be nervous. I was nervous. I had butterflies in my stomach and sweaty palms the first few parties that I did. But once I realized that these products are literally life-changing, and the interactions and the connections that I was making with people were really making a positive impact on their family. All right, so let's talk about the setup. So first of all, I'm a little bit old school. I know that if you have Office Suite, you can do a lot of this digitally. You can actually make a shopping cart and you can share that shopping cart, and I have done that as well. And I will send out a link to my host ahead of time to send to all the attending guests. And that way then we can go through the products that I've pre-selected for the evening and put in the shopping cart. But I also firmly believe that everybody wants a hard copy of the catalog. So what I do is when I arrive and I set up my products, first of all, don't be tempted to take too many products. You want to make it look like anybody can do this as a business. And if you show up and take over the whole house, it's going to not look duplicatable. So strategy number one is ideally I set up on the coffee table. So if I get there and the host offers me a big dining room table, I never set up on the dining room table because I don't want someone sitting on the couch thinking I could never host a party. I don't have a big dining room table. I set up on the fireplace mantle. I set up on coffee tables, end tables, anything that looks super duplicatable. Sometimes I set up right on my own bin that I took everything in on. So when I arrive, I put catalogs on each of the chairs. I stick an order form on the page where the packages are, so when I reference them. Obviously, bringing a computer is optional. I sometimes bring a computer for checkout, and I'm going to share that with you in a little bit, but you don't have to. If you don't have one, it doesn't matter. I did it for many years without. I also provide everybody a pen, and I decide ahead of time what products am I going to intentionally talk about that I want people to wonder more. My job as a Norwex consultant is to create desire. So I want to be premeditated about that. So one example is I always have a bow on my mop. So I remember when I talk about the mop that I say what a gift this mop is and how you can get it for free either by joining Norwex, and you can earn it through the kit standard kit option. Alternative number two is you can host a party, and I can help you get it totally for free through the hosting program. The other thing that I do is I have little clips like, where are my words? Laundry clips, like clothesline clips. I have little clothesline clips with ladybugs on them, and I clip them on the EnviroCloth, the window cloth, the dusting mitt, all the things that people can get in the standard starter kit. So while the products are being passed around, I'll say little things like, you can earn this for free by hosting a party, or you can receive this in the standard starter kit while you earn your kit, while you earn an income. So I decide ahead of time the products that I'm going to talk about. I intentionally put something on them so that I'm planting seeds along the way. And if you have something like, say, for example, the mop is one of the number one reasons why people book a party with you, then that's a perfect planting of a seed to plant while you're talking about the products. All right, so when the guests arrive, the first thing I do is I meet them at the door. And I introduce myself. I say, I'm your consultant for the evening. I ask what their name is, and I get the correct spelling of their name, and I make them a name tag. Yes, again, I do lots of old school things. They work for me. I love it. These are just white mailing labels, and I just stick a little label on their shirt, Susan, Jennifer, Joanne, Ashley, and that way then when I talk to them, I can say their name. And they forget that they're wearing those name tags half the time anyway, but it's a way of me to also remember their names. So I put name tags on them, and the first question I ask is, are you familiar with Norwex's products? And they'll tell me whether they're brand new or if they have the products. I ask, amazing, what do you love? Now I'm making a note of this because facts tell, stories sell. As soon as I pull out a product, I will say, hey, Jennifer, this was your favorite product. Would you tell everybody about it for us? Anytime you can get someone else in the room to talk about the product, home run. It's amazing. People will listen to a friend who is not selling the product over anything I have to say all day long. So I am gleaning information to find out who knows what about the product. I will sometimes ask, what is your favorite product? And if they say the mattress spray, and if I wasn't planning on talking about it, at some point during the evening, I might say, hey, Jennifer, you mentioned the mattress spray is your favorite. Could you tell us why? Allow the customers to give input so that it's a very interactive presentation, okay? The next thing I ask is, what is your greatest cleaning challenge? And that is also just information for me so that while I'm talking about the descaler or while I'm talking about the mop or the body pack, I can then reference, hey, Joanne or Karen or Ashley, you mentioned that, and then I shared their problem, and then I also can share how this particular product is the perfect solution for what they shared with me. All right. So when I want to get started with the party, what I do is I gather everybody in the kitchen. So often there's some snacks, some beverages happening. So we gather in the kitchen, and the first thing that I do is I get everybody to go around and introduce themselves, and I ask them to say one word to describe the host. This actually might be my highlight of the whole evening. I lost my dad, and I share that in my presentation a little bit later, but I'll just tell you this now. I lost my dad in my 20s, and I just sometimes think that we go through life without hearing what people actually think of us. And the amount of hosts that cry when people are going around saying, she's kind, she's thoughtful, she's loyal. And it just really hits this beautiful spot in people's heart. And if I could be a part of facilitating that, you know what? I would do this as a volunteerism all day long. I love that. All right, okay. The next thing that I do is I explain what makes Norwex's microfiber different than any other microfiber out there. So I'm Dutch, so I assume that people think like I thought, and it was like, well, what's the difference? Like, there's all this microfiber out there. Really, what is the difference? So there are a couple S's, and Johanna and I were chatting about this when we were at the Black Jacket meetings. So if you want to think of about a bunch of S words, here we go, okay? The size of the fiber, okay? So your first S word is size. How micro are our fibers? Store-bought microfiber is a minimum of 1/6 the size of a human hair. Norwex's microfiber is a minimum of 200th the size of a human hair. So way different, right? So the size. The second thing you can talk about is the shape. Norwex's microfiber is shaped like a spoke. So instead of cotton that moves the bacteria around and relies on the chemical to clean the surface, Norwex's microfiber actually picks it up into the properties of the spokes and traps it, so there's no cross-contamination. So good news. Your third S is save. We save people money, right? How many people could say they use the same roll of paper towel to wash their windows for 10 years? They can't. We can. I absolutely love that we save people time and money. In fact, I have many people on my team who are active Norwex consultants who clean homes because it saves at least half of the amount of time while cleaning. Your next S is silver. Our products are silver embedded, hence the back lock on Norwex's catalog. You will see it throughout as we go through our evening tonight, and it's going to tell you that these products are embedded with silver. Now, bacteria can't grow on silver. Are there any nurses here tonight? And I ask, and the nurses all know about silver, right? All right, and then your last S is it's simple. You just use water. Right? Norwex's products remove 99% of all bacteria from a surface by using water. That's pretty simple. That is not something we'd be nervous about if our kids were caught drinking it. All right, so we are still in the kitchen, so I will then do a butter demo. I usually do the butter demo either on a window, on the face of a microwave, or on a glass top stove. Alternatively, you can buy this on Amazon. It is called Glo Germ, and you get it with you purchase it with a black light. And Norwex has videos about it. You can go to the Norwex resource and you can watch it. You sprinkle a little of this Glo Germ, which simulates bacteria, and you leave the lights on and allow people to wipe it with whatever type of wipe they currently have in their home. Allow people to read the packaging to see what the packaging actually says. If I bring it, I always cover the packaging because I don't want to say anything negative about other people's brands. I don't want to get caught up in that. When people ask me questions, well, how does your product compare to? I'm like, I'm a Norwex expert. I am not an expert in anyone else's products. But what I can tell you is our products have all the S's, and we remove 99% of bacteria from a surface, and it's super simple. All right. Then the next thing I talk about is the window cloth, and I wrap the kitchen up with the cleaning paste. So I'll use a spear sponge and a little bit of cleaning paste, and I'll either clean the kitchen sink. I have had customers who have had stains in their kitchen sink from coffee they said for so long, like they just hadn't been able to get it clean. Or if you do a glass top stove, I use the cleaning paste with a spear sponge to clean something in the kitchen to show them how it foams, and I pass it around. All right. If you are not 100% confident in explaining the products, I've got a couple strategies for you, okay? First of all, Norwex has what's called party cards. Where did I put them? I literally had them right here. See, guys, even I lose things right here in my own office. Seriously. Oh, I put them up here. See, there they are. Okay, Norwex has these party cards that brand new consultants get, and they literally have all the wording on it for what you can say during your party. Alternatively, if you're not new and you didn't get these, you can go to the Norwex resource and you can actually download them. So just search party cards and you can download them. And my personal preference is just talk from your heart. Just talk about your favorite products. Your friends and family want to know what you love and what you think, but you can always use the party cards as backup. All right. So when we're done in the kitchen, we then move to the living room. And the very first question I ask people when we get seated in the living room is, how many of you have been affected by cancer? And I'll tell you, when I started 19 years ago, a couple hands went up. Now, almost every single time, every hand goes up. And to me, it's shocking. It's like we have all had our lives interrupted by cancer, whether it's a family, a friend, or personally. And I ask them, tell me, not all of them, I'll just ask a couple of them. Shirley, tell me your situation. Hey, Leanne, tell me your situation. And I let them share whatever story that is. And then I say, that's why I do this job. I lost my dad when I was in my 20s. I've got 3 beautiful daughters who are now young adults. They never met my dad. And my dad had cancer, and it was environmental cancer. And we were told that it wasn't genetic, which was good news. But the bad news was we were farmers and we ate off the land. And I would have never thought in a million years that our family was unhealthy. We had our own chickens. We made our own jam. We had our own garden. But we also soaked a lot of things in bleach because my dad was a butcher. And we stained the farm fence and then we'd wash our skin with farm gas. Any farm girls here? And hands go up around the room. My first desire when I start my Norwex parties is to be relatable. I want to connect with them. I want them to realize that I'm actually not there to sell them anything. I'm there to change the way they think forever. I don't want them to go down those aisles anymore at the grocery stores. I want my voice to be on their shoulder, that every time they look at a chemical cleaning product, they think, I don't need that. I have options. So once we're in the living room, I go through the rest of the products that I plan on talking about. I then pull people into the conversation as much as possible based on that information that I gleaned at the front door about them, what their favorite products were or what their cleaning challenge was. And I drop those in as I go, along with my intentional booking and team building seeds. As I go, I drop those along the way. I talk about the Safe Haven 5 and I talk about the additional products that I planned on covering that night. I wrap up my party and honestly, friends, maximum 30 minutes. If you have somebody in the room who's watching their time because they've got to pick up their kid from ballet or hockey or soccer, I really try to be very respectful of people's time, and that's what I'll say as soon as I wrap up. If there's anyone here that needs to head out right away, I'd love to connect with you first. So I try to be very aware of the time. I have a hard time. Sometimes people talk about doing a Norwex party in 10 minutes. I'm not that fast. I can't make a connection. I can't go through the products. I can't do it that fast. In fact, I have a little game that I play. I still do this. I have a deck of cards that I take with me to all my parties because everybody's got their catalog on their lap and they're circling things with their pen and they're ear tagging pages. And I say anybody who calls out the page number for any product I talk about or anybody else mentions, you get a card into tonight's draw. That way I don't have to memorize the page numbers. I don't have all the prices memorized. I don't need to. They've got the catalog. They can look it up and it's right there in front of them. All right. So when I'm about to close, I have this paper money. And I know for all my US friends, you think Canada has money that looks like play money. But it's just, it's oversized. Like I'm not doing anything illegal here. These are like way bigger than regular cash. But I do photocopy them and I pass them around. And I pass around $300. And I ask people to share just really quickly, what would you do with an extra $300 a month? And now that the party's over, people are like, oh my goodness, I need it for Norwex. And it's like, okay, duly noted. I'm going to talk to you about having a party. Or, you know, I would pay off my credit card, or I would put it towards university for my kid, or our family needs a little extra income. Again, all of this is very strategic. And I use that information for when I sit with them at checkout, just to have those little extra conversations about the things that they share. All right. The other thing that I do is I have the hosting specials, customer specials, and the kit offers for the month always printed out. I used to kind of have them on signs standing up. I don't know. I don't do that anymore. I now just slide them into a plastic slip sleeve and I just pass them around for people to take a look at. The other thing that I do is I wrap my party up by having 3 beautiful gift bags. And I say tonight, I would love to give those 3 gift bags away to 3 very special people. If you are here tonight and your wish list is super long, I would be honored to come to your home to teach your friends and your family about these products that I know that you are going to fall in love with, or maybe you've already fallen in love with and need to replenish and refresh some of your favorites. The first 3 people to say that they want to book a party and have it at their house can walk away tonight with whatever is in that gift bag. And when all 3 of those gift bags are gone, the host tonight is going to receive a very extra special gift package from me. I don't even tell them what it is. I can make it whatever I want it to be. But those 3 gift bags, the first one will go, usually the fastest. Then the second one will go. Well, then there's a lot of peer pressure for the third. And then I'll sometimes even jump back in the living room, because at this point I'm in the kitchen and I'm going to tell you what I do in the kitchen right away. And I'll be like, so far we have 2 bookings. So there's only 1 bag left here in the living room. And I just want you to know that if you're sitting here thinking, everybody I know is here tonight, there's not one person who has come through checkout that's bought everything that they want. So these are products that you slowly collect over time while you convert your home into a place that you know is chemical free and safe for your family. All right. So then what I do is I say, anybody who comes and sits with me in the kitchen, I have a gift for you. And I do tell my hosts that ahead of time, that anybody who comes and sits with me, and just even if they don't place an order, I actually say, if you're here tonight and your husband asked you to spend no money, I'm pro-marriage. So please don't, but just come sit with me. I've got a gift for you anyway. I want people to know that I want a long-term relationship with them. And I don't want them to buy something they can't afford. I would much rather help them get it for free, or help them generate an income through Norwex's generous consultant program of that 35%. All right. So once they come and sit with me in the kitchen, the first thing that I ask them is, what did you learn tonight? I'm always curious. What did you learn tonight? And I love hearing them process what they learned. Then I'll say something about what they interacted with. I'll be like, well, you were sure, very aware of chemicals of concern. And if you download the party cards, or if you go to the Norwex resource, Norwex has lots of stats there that you can use. These party cards have a number of awesome quotes that you're going to want to use in your party as well. So you can jump on the Norwex resource and take a look at them there. whether they're aware of chemicals of concern, whether maybe they're already, using vinegar. I have customers that will say, oh, I already use vinegar. And I'll say, wow, I meet people like you, and I'm just so proud of that decision because you were ahead of the curve when everybody else was busy using disinfectant wipes. But my only concern with vinegar is it doesn't actually remove bacteria. So it also gives me an opportunity to have conversations with them one-on-one if I didn't get those conversations in the living room. They'll bring extra things up when I'm just talking to them alone. The other thing I do then is I take a look at their order form, and I do like a paper copied order form. I will be sitting there. You don't have to. You can literally just do it with a piece of paper and take their orders just like that. But I take their paper order form and I right away start typing it into my laptop and to collect their orders. That way I can right away say, you qualify for the spend and get. I see you bought the oven and grill cleaner. Would you like to get the spear nets? You got the cleaning paste. Would you like the spear sponges? I'm able to kind of tailor, or I see you bought everything here in the Safe Haven 5 package, or you got the mop, but you didn't get a rubber brush. Are you interested in the new dustpan, or would you like the standard rubber brush? It's just all about tailoring their order, and it's one-on-one. And it's right there. And it's no pressure. It's just like, hey, I just want to make sure that when you get your products, everything is going to work well for you. And you're not going to be like, well, I didn't know that I was missing something, right? Okay. So I customize their order. I sit with them. I talk it through with them. I'll often ask if they have things on their wish list that they weren't able to purchase. And that is when I do ask every single person. I'm going to repeat that. Every single person. Would you like to get some free products with Norwex's generous hosting program? I'd be honored to come to your home to teach your friends and family about them. Or if this group of people are your friends and family, trust me, they didn't get everything they wanted on their wish list. But once I start host coaching her, I know that there's going to be other branches of groups of people that she knows. Sometimes when people are sitting in a group of people, they think those are the only people they know. But what about their coworkers? And what about the people through their kids that obviously aren't there? So sometimes it just requires having that conversation with them. And then the other thing that I always offer as well is, are you interested in going home with an information package about Norwex's business opportunity? I am actively looking for people who want to generate an income and help me teach our greater area about these products. Are you interested? And I'll even sometimes say, maybe this is for you, or maybe this is for someone you know. And then sometimes they'll be like, you know what, while you were doing this, I was thinking about my niece, or I was thinking about my cousin. And they share people's names with me. And my deal is, if they give me a referral from someone who wasn't in attendance, and if they are not currently using Norwex's products, I send them a free basic pack. I just want them to try it. Now, my gifts at checkout have been different over the years. You can do whatever you want. You can use some of your Norwex shopping sprees, order in some MVP packages. Norwex has little plastic bottles, little spray bottles. You can dilute odor eliminator, super cost effective. Excellent way for you to demo the Norwex odor eliminator, and it literally, the whole bottle is pretty much water. My daughters fill them up for me as giveaways for at my parties. So don't feel like you need to spend a lot of money for these gifts, but it is nice for everybody to leave with something. All right. Then obviously, as all the guests have gone, I then sit down with the host and I thank her. I leave her with a printed copy of the hosting program that I have gone over with her with a highlighter. Your party sales are currently sitting at $950. You are only $50 away from this $1,000 package. You do have 3 bookings, or actually right now you don't have any bookings. Sometimes that happens as well, just being totally real. And can you think of somebody who wasn't here tonight that you think would really feel like they missed out? Maybe they would like to be a host for your party. The other thing that I do with my host is, after I show them what they've earned, I always tell them what I earned. And if the husband is there loading the dishwasher, my first thing is, if the party's $1,000, thank you so much for supporting our family business. Tonight, I just earned $350. And boy, it sure was a special evening to spend time with your group of friends. It was amazing. I don't know, is that anything that could help your family right now? As the husband's sticking his head up over the dishwasher counter, like, yeah, maybe that would be helpful. So those are conversations you can't have when you're, for me anyway, I have found it very challenging online, whereas it can be just really authentic and real and kind and approachable when you are doing it in an atmosphere that's right, live, in person. You can feel what they're putting off. They can feel what I'm putting off. I'm literally just there to be a servant. How can I help you? How would this best support you, your family, and your goals? All right. The last thing I do when I leave for the evening is I always set up a time to have a call with her, obviously to talk about the business opportunity. We know that our hosts are our number one prospects to join our team. They love the product. They wanted to teach their friends about it. And then also I leave her an information pack about the business opportunity that I do bring up when we are closing her party. And yes, I do that one-on-one with them on a phone call. The first thing that I do the next morning is I mail her a thank you card, and I handwrite all the things that people said about her in that card. These are the things that your friend said about you last night that I thought were super special. So how do I do that? I have a little post-it note, and when we're in the kitchen and people are going around, I jot down I don't say who said it, I just say what they said. And I handwrite her a card thanking her for the privilege to come into their family home, to have the opportunity to teach her friends and family about a product that I love and I wouldn't want to live without. And then I list all the attributes that her friends said were fantastic about her. So that is it, my friends. That is how I do an in-home party. I just want to tell you that if you really want to impact people's lives, it is such a beautiful way to connect with people and to genuinely reach them where they're at, find out what their concerns are, and help them find the perfect Norwex solution that fits in their family's budget. And sometimes that's hosting a party or joining your team. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found this helpful. Have yourself a super day.